Hi everybody, it's Christina and thank you for joining me. So today I wanted to share with you these quick and simple cards that are all done using different elements that I've got in my craft room, and you probably have them in yours as well. So this one has just used the Rose Flourishes leaves and a round sentiment, but I've also added in that a wax seal. This one has got hand-drawn edges around it just to bring out the black of the card, and this one has got the butterfly attached to some parchment, and again I've just decorated the edge. They've all got sentiments that have been in other packs, and I've added those to black card and added them onto the card. This one again has got the Rose Flourishes in it, but it's got some pearls around the edge. This one also has a hand-drawn edge, and this one has just got little gemstones stuck to a get well card. Now they've all been created, all the backgrounds have been created with an everyday item that we've all probably got in our kitchens, and that's just a household sponge. So all I've done with my sponge is cut it into 4 separate pieces, and they can all be used with some water-based inks. So I've got Dusty Concord, Blueprint Sketch and Evergreen Bough, and I'm going to make 2 cards. One's an A6, the other is a 5x7. Now for the top of each of these cards I have a mat, and it's on these mats that I'm going to work first with my sponges and the inks. So for the first card I'm going to take my ink, my sponge, I'm going to fill it with some ink, and I'm just going to swipe it across the card. Now, it doesn't matter if it fades on one end, then I'm going to do the same with the next colour and swipe that across, and then we'll go back to this and we'll just blend those in, and then we'll come to the third colour and we'll just swipe that across the card. Now we can set that on one side and leave that to dry, and for this one we're going to load the sponge up with some ink, and we're just going to very lightly dab it down in random areas on the card, and we'll repeat that with all the colours until they're all down in splotches. And we'll just go back and refill that now until it's all covered. So there we've got 2 really pretty backgrounds created just with household sponges. Now with one of the sponges and the colour of your choice, I'm just going to go around the edges, and that's just going to blend that in just a little bit more, and then we can set them both on one side and let the inks dry. So once the ink is dried, I'm taking the smaller card and I'm going to put this in my butterflies embossing folder. Now you can use any folder that you want, but I'm using this and I'm positioning this down at the bottom so I have these 3 butterflies on my panel, and I'm going to run that through the die cutting machine on the embossing sandwich. So once I've embossed that, I have very light embossing on the card, and now to bring out the beauty in that, I'm going to run over it with my finger with some gilding wax, and this is Pebio's gilding wax. So I've got a little bit in the lid, I've got some on my finger, and I'm just going to very lightly brush over the raised areas. And that just enhances the butterflies just a little bit more. Now once I've done that, just to make sure that I don't spread any more of the gold around that could be on there, I'm taking a soft cloth and I'm just going to buff it up. So there now is my card with my butterflies enhanced in gold and the sponged background ready to add to my card. So for this panel I'm going to mat it onto some gold card, and I'm going to make sure that that then will fit the front of my A6 card along there. Now for this card I want to add another butterfly, so I'm taking the outer die and cutting that in parchment. I'm using the same gold card to cut the butterfly, and then for the sentiment I'm taking With Love Always, and this is just a pre-done sentiment strip. It's foiled, and that's from another collection with Card Making Magic. So I'm going to add this to the bottom of the card, and then I'm going to cut that out, and that will then be ready to add to my design. So there are all my bits and pieces to complete this A6 card, and in my crafting stash I've found this Flourish, and I'm going to cut this up, and that will be added as my butterfly trail to my card. So let's just get this now all put together. So we'll glue that along the body line, and we'll add that to the parchment, and we'll leave that to set up a little bit. We'll add this in place, now I'm just going to trim this off a little bit at the bottom so that that is equally spaced around the card. So that to me looks much better now, it's level at the bottom. And this I'm just going to bend the wings up in my fingers just a little bit, and then add some glue to the body line and add that to the card. So we'll just add this along here, and we'll pop that in place, and we want the butterfly trail coming down from the bottom, so we can add that there. We can peel the butterfly trail off and add this to the card. Now if you don't have this, you can always hand draw a butterfly trail in, and if you have a gold pen, that would look absolutely wonderful coming down from your butterfly. So there he is, and then at the bottom of the card we'll add in the sentiment. So we'll add this sentiment in with some foam, and that will just give it some definition on the card. And that's our card completed. Now if you've got any more pearls, you can also add those into your design, and I have some straight pearls that will fit the same colour as this, so I'm going to dot these around as well. So I've dotted some of these about round the card, and I'm going to put some of these down the body line. So we'll just add these in along here, up to the head, and then we'll trim those off. And there's our card now completed. So let's now do the 5x7. So for the 5x7, that's too wide a border around there for me, so I've cut myself a smaller mat, and I'm going to colour that in with one of the colours that's on my card, and that will be the next border, the next mat to go along there. So let's just take this and one of our inks, and I think we'll use the purple one. So we'll use Dusty Concord, and we'll add some ink to our sponge, and we'll just go along the edges. And we'll go all the way around. So there's my 5x7 card, and once my mat is dry, that will fit onto the front, and then this panel will sit on the top. Now this time we're going to add in some flowers to this, but we're just going to do them black. So I'm choosing 3 of the petal designs that I want, and I'm going to cut these in black card, and they will be added to my design just along there. So now with my chosen flower dies and my black card, I have cut them out 3 times, and I'm just going to glue them together to layer them up, just to give them a bit more depth. And they will then be added to my card. So now we can put this card together. So we'll add this to the base. Leave just a small border around the edges. We'll now add this piece in. And then we'll add the flowers. Now we'll add these in with some foam, and we'll keep all the stems at the bottom together as best we can. We'll add those in with foam. I've coloured another piece of card and I've added my sentiment to that, and that's going to sit along there. And now just to finish this off, I'm just adding in some little black pearls. So we'll add these just randomly on the card. So the items that I've used have been ordinary Distress Oxide inks, a household sponge which I've cut into pieces. I've used some stickers, sentiment stickers from other collections, and I've used a butterfly and some flowers from Card Making Magic. I've created two cards, one is a 5x7, the other is an A6, and both are now ready to send. So I hope you've enjoyed the video, and if you have, please join me on the next one. And why not subscribe to my channel, click the notification bell, then you'll always be aware when I add a new video. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.